What I wanted to ask you is about our first collaborations, the Parliament of Reality, and how it came together for you.
It's funny because the days we have experienced here are also a kind of reality. You know, reality where we are renegotiating what rules actually matters and what does rule means and do we need to change the rules. And I think we do. So the role of a parliament is obviously an opportunity to come together and to reconsider what is the meaning of things. So when I was invited to Bard College, I very much thought about that they have an incredibly strong sort of school of economy and a very strong school of culture, curatorial, art school, and so on, and among other schools as well, of course. And I thought maybe the opportunity is in fact to create a meeting place instead of the challenge at universities, which is the compartmentalization of education. So the parliament was an educational opportunity, I thought, to share the responsibility on, well, how do we actually sit together? A great work of art is one that hosts your view, and my view, and it allows us to acknowledge the discrepancy, among other things also acknowledging that we are sharing the experience. So I often suggest that parliamentarism, or democracy if you want, is very much at the heart of culture. So the parliament of reality is at Bard College, which you so generously made possible, Maja, is in fact about renegotiating reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the time, in 2006, when we were building it, it was really the beginning of the LUMA Foundation. And at the time I was very compelled by the idea that it would be a place where you could go as much when you want to feel alone than when you want to feel with people. It also gives the possibility to go there and reflect on things by yourself as much as to be there during a meeting, during a performance. So I was really very happy about the fact that it could fulfill both or even more cases.
I think also the space itself changes with the changes in weather, and it has a completely different experience during the winter, during the summer.
Well, we know that educational environments prioritize the indoor, and especially in American universities, the outdoor was the sort of pragmatic connections between all the departments. So the outdoors was more like a map, and the indoors was like the thinking machines. And obviously the truth is, as we have also learned today, walking between two think tanks might actually be the place where the operationalization of the thinking into doing happens. So the outdoor space has a lot of opportunities. The only thing we need to understand, we need to make it explicit and show the outdoor spaces in all its sort of dimensions, including the seasons, the changes. Around the Parliament of Reality, I planted a circle of trees which I believe about 3 months every spring have gold flowers on them. It's I think it's called Gold Rain, and I thought that was sort of funny because there's a strong sort of economical school there. And the gold leaves, they go on the water and they kind of make a carpet. It does not happen very often, but that's also beautiful that there is that one time a year where you seem to be able to walk on the water. So the notion of explicitation of biology, nature, the plants, the sort of environment has to do with simply allowing people to make it tangible, because we seem to think that nature is beyond the school's domain. We don't necessarily integrate the Anthropocene into the kind of micro actions on the ground. And a platform which has high exposure of natural diversity and the seasons and the water freezes in the winter and all of that could contribute to suggesting, well, the indoor and the outdoor are connected, as it obviously is when thinking about it, but we tend to forget. No, and I followed your work, Maja. I came out to the Camargue, was very impressed.
Yeah.
I was also very conscious about that the Camargue has, when you're there is this notion of solitude and contemplative potential, but you don't have to be very far. You don't have to look very far. Then you have industry, then you have tourism, then you have a lot of other interests, and ecology seems to be so squished in between. So the challenge is, of course, to create a sort of network or a system that will allow for the ecology to be given agency to sort of own itself instead of being the result or the leftover between all the others. So that's why I was so excited about visiting. And
do you remember your show at PS1 and the Take Your Time?
Yes.
Can you speak about this piece?
So yes, so in an exhibition in New York, PS1, a sort of survey of my work, Maja fell in love with a piece I had worked on for a while, and it was called Take Your Time. Take Your Time can be two things. It's obviously a reference to don't go too fast, but to take your time is also to claim your time, like take it and I own it, and I want to sort of be off my own time. I am timing, I am becoming time, and we heard a great talk about walking earlier, fantastic, about the slowness and expanding time. It's a mirror suspended from the ceiling, and it is rotating. So there is this kind of idea of time moving, and all you see is a sense of sort of almost like gravitational change. And I like that very much, especially happy now, of course, because Frank Gehry's notion of equilibrium or anti-gravity, or the going against the forces of the Euclidean geometries. It could not be a better site to be in that building and sort of support the notion of subtle destabilization, and sometimes not so subtle destabilization that Frank Gehry is doing here so eloquently.
You have to come back, and we work on that part.
Good.
So we have it right. Okay.
That's great.
Okay.